Welcome to the podcast.
Stopping all stations.
Change here.
Stopping all stations.
Airline change. Now arriving. Now arriving.
21 minutes.
Now arriving. Now arriving.
G'day guys, and welcome back to another big episode of Stopping All Stations, where we're going to introduce an awesome new segment.
Indeed we are, mate. First up, we've got the trusty history with the former Mornington line before testing our knowledge on the secrets of the Stony Point line.
Oh, it's looking good, mate. Another demolition by me, I reckon.
No,
there.
not a
And
chance.
After that, mate, we've got a new segment called Rail Rages, and I think you guys are going to love that. Just you wait.
A proper good segment made by me, of course. No credit to you, Ben. And we do end real strong as well with deep analysis of the airport rail link and the good old trusty international facts returning to knock your socks off.
Oh boy, it's going to be another good one. But now it's time for a trip down to Mornington.
Let's go.
Now arriving. Now arriving.
4 minutes.
Now arriving. Now arriving.
With Melbourne growing rapidly throughout the 1880s, the railways were not far behind, and in 1882 the line reached the town of Frankston before reaching Baxter in 1888.
The town of Frankston, gee, you wouldn't call it a town today, would you? It's pretty big.
It's a beautiful place.
Beautiful Mornington. It is. It's a lovely place. We love Frankston. But beautiful Mornington by the sea. A bit better of a place, I reckon, in my opinion. But Mornington, unsurprisingly, already a tourist town by the 1860s, was served by steamers. An extension of the rail line here was an obvious one. And on the 10th of September, 1889, the 13-kilometre long Mornington line was built to Baxter.
Far out, Mornington with steamers in 1860, that's crazy.
It is, yeah, for sure.
When it first opened, the line had 2 stations, however, a few more were added along the way, increasing the amount of cool history this line has to offer.
It's got a very cool history, and around World War II, regular passenger services were unfortunately removed from the line, and over the next few decades, services along the line varied. By the 1970s, there were protests and efforts to close the line altogether, eventually proving successful.
Now, projects, that's very weird. We would definitely not see that today with all the history that we've now lost, unfortunately.
It's a big shame,
The next several years were very confusing as the special trains running, the Derm service being replaced by a Walker rail motor and ARE steam tours, but the last rail service ran on the 20th of May in 1981.
After that, the last train to run between Baxter and the original Mornington station occurred on June the 6th in 1981 as well. After this, the last kilometre or 2 of the line was demolished, now a part of the Mornington shopping precinct.
What a shame. I mean, like that last bit is just fully gone now. There's like a plaque there, but it's just demolished. It's finished.
It's gone to history, and it is a big shame. We've obviously got the current Mornington station, but it's a fair way from the city, so yeah, it's disappointing, but that's the way it is, I guess.
Exactly right. But all is not lost. Luckily for us, in 1984, the Mornington Railway Preservation Society was established with the goal of restoring the line as a heritage and tourist railway. And of course, as we see today, the tourist railway running between Murdoch and the new Mornington station. That's evidence of their incredible success.
It's massive success. That whole tourist line has been huge for the area, and it's been a real staple of the Mornington Peninsula, I reckon. It's really cool, and I definitely recommend anyone to get down there.
Could not agree more.
The final rail movement between Baxter and Murdoch occurred in March of 1999 in order to transfer T411 and T376 to the now beautiful Heritage Station, the final of these many transfers.
For 22 years, the Heritage Railway on the second half of the old railway has grown to an awesome Melbourne and Victoria attraction, very contrasting to the first half that has continued to unfortunately become derelict and lost in the bushy nature of the area.
It's crazy to see how it was only in 1999, which was, 22 years ago, that the last train ran along that bit of track there. And I think one of the really cool things too is that when they built the Peninsula Link over the old railway, they left a bridge for it. So who knows? One day we might see that bit of track come back.
Oh, exactly right. I mean, there is underneath the peninsula link. There's like room for 2 extra tracks. I'm not sure we'll get
For sure.
a duplication of the Mornington line, but it's there.
Duplication of the Mornington line.
Oh,
Gee,
boy.
we're really clutching at straws there, aren't we? Perfect. So as we saw last episode, Murdoch Station now has Fitzroy Station's old footbridge, which is pretty big, and tourist services run on the beautiful railway every Sunday and on some public holidays, pending for COVID, obviously.
Or pending for COVID, and that's right. And mate, I went and hiked the line of the summer with a mate, Applehead, and mate, it is incredible the amount of history and abandoned stuff. Like the tracks, almost all the way to Murdoch are still there. And then the tourist railway, all the tracks are still there, even if they're not in amazing condition.
That's still great, having the tourist railway there. And obviously the abandoned line too. I mean, you showed me some pictures of that, and mate, we definitely have to get down there because that looks really, really cool.
Oh, we will. And hopefully, one of 2 things occurs with the line in the future. Number 1, a full rail trail established that it doesn't destroy any history. Because I know that down at South Gippsland, they're building an awesome rail trail, but a lot of the rail history is getting removed, and that's just not what we want.
I think the perfect middle ground is where they keep the parts of the history, so the old rail line and bits of that, and then also build the rail trail. So hopefully we get some of that when they do that bit of track between Baxter and Murdoch.
100%. Or, of course, the line just fully reopens to Baxter, or just both. Take your pick, guys.
That would be ideal, wouldn't it?
Certainly a huge historic part down in Mornington. But let's now backtrack onto the Stony Point line, because it's time for another mega quiz, and you're going to get flogged here, mate.
I don't think so. Let's go.
No, you're getting flogged. Alrighty, mate. It's still all in the quiz. We've still got a long way to go, but I'd say it's pretty tight heading into this line. We don't know much about it. I don't know. I'm not going to lie.
No.
The Stony Point line, mostly nothing about us.
No, we don't know too much about the Stony Point line, but to be fair, we both do really find it super interesting. Like, there's just something about it, it's pretty unique, so I reckon we'll go okay.
Speak for yourself, mate. I reckon I'm going to have a shocker. I've been on the line
We'll have to
twice in my life, so that might count for something, but we'll see.
Well, I've only been once.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
Good luck to everyone at home. Ben, do you want to say your first question first, or do you want me to go first?
Sure thing. Well, I'll kick us off.
Beautiful.
And, mate, the first question. In what year was the line from Bitton to Red Hill opened?
Oh, bit of a Red Hill question. Mate, that's a stitch up and a half. But,
Down the Stony Point line, mate.
No, I do know a bit about this line, though, because I did go camping down at Balnarring, if you guys know where that is. And there's like an information board, I can't remember where. And it said something about 1921 being the opening year. But I might be wrong. I might be just completely stupid here, because that seems quite late, considering that it closed in the 50s, I think. But I'm going to lock in 1921, because that's all I know.
Locked in. 1921 is correct. Well done, mate. The line from Bitton to Red Hill was opened in 1921.
That is very lucky, because I feel like if I didn't go to Balnarring, I would have no clue. Absolutely no clue.
That's fair enough. It's a lovely place down there, so
it's beautiful.
I don't blame you for camping there.
Question 1 for you. At what station is the shortest platform with regular rail services in Victoria? Now, I might need confirmation on this, but as of filming, yeah, it's the shortest.
Oh, this is an interesting one. This is a very interesting one. The shortest in Victoria, and it's on the small little Stony Point line. Whew. I feel like it's not one of the sort of, how do I say, not the older stations, but the stations with buildings, if that makes sense. Like one of the bigger stations.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be Hastings. I don't think it's going to be Somerville. I feel like one of those sort of smaller stations. Could it be Muridu?
It could be.
Could it be Lawara? It could be. Could it be Baxter? It could be. Oh.
Ooh. I will tell you, on my calculations, 59 metres. Although all sources say 44. I don't know where that got that from. But
Oh, that's interesting. 44. That's not long at all, is it?
most are under 70 metres. So this might be a stitch up of a question here.
Yeah. I reckon I'm going to have to go with Lawara. Final answer.
Is that a guess or is that an educated guess?
I think it's an educated guess because I know that Lawara does have a very short platform, like all the other ones, by the way.
Yeah.
But
well, mate, I can
I
tell
feel
you.
like it's got a particularly short one.
I can tell you that you've got a good education, mate, because it is correct.
Oh, yes! Get in! Oh, that's a good answer.
That's
from me.
huge. That is huge. We've matched now, 1-1 going into question 2.
That is very big, and I'm happy with that. But, mate, it's on to question 2 now. And my question for you is how many Stony Point Line stations, not including Frankston, officially have a bus connection, according to Metro?
Mate, I've got no idea. Okay, so we're gonna. No, this is a shocker, Ben. You've stitched me up here. I've got absolutely no idea. Most questions, I have some idea. But this one, oh dear. So we've got no Stony Point, Crib Point. I'm not gonna. No thanks. Baxter. I'm pretty sure there's a bus at Baxter, so we're gonna say 1.
Oh,
Well, the thing is, the geography of the station. I don't know how many are close to roads. I'm pretty sure most of them are, but
most of them have a road that goes near them.
like, oh, it's Stony Point. The area's a lot of there's not many houses down there. Am I right in saying that?
You are right in saying that, yes. There's a caravan park.
There is a caravan park. That is huge. I'm gonna just take an absolute stab in the dark. I'm gonna say 3. Lock it in.
3. Lock that in. Yep.
Lock it in.
Okay.
Throw the key away.
It's locked in. The key has just been disposed of. It is gone. But the answer is 7. All the stations, except for Lawara and Stony Point, have a bus connection. Although Stony Point does technically have a ferry connection. So
Oh dear.
it's interesting.
Well, I've had a great question there, Ben. Thanks for that one.
That's okay. That's a tough one. That was a tough one.
All right, your question 2 is worth 2 marks if you can get both. After what stations did the now closed Red Hill and partially closed Mornington lines junction off from the line? Now,
Oh, mate. Oh. Now, we did obviously just have me ask a question about the Red Hill line.
yeah, but
And I think I know the answer to the Mornington line too.
well, I'll give you a hint. It's not Stony Point.
Oh, wow, mate. That has helped me dramatically. So, I think there's no point fluffing around with it. Let's be honest. The answer is Baxter for the Mornington line and Bitton for the Red Hill line.
Incorrect.
Oh.
It's
Is that so?
Stony Point for the Mornington line, and Frankston for the Red Hill line. No,
Oh, I'm
no,
sure.
no,
I'm sure.
no.
What about Flinders Street?
Yeah, Flinders Street as well. No, you're correct, Ben. Well done. 2 marks there. You're on 3. Smashed me at the moment.
That was a nice easy one. So I'll take that. On to question 3 now. And my question for you, mate. Which Stony Point Line stations are located in the town of Crib Point?
Crib Point. Mate. Is that a big suburb, may I ask?
I'm not really willing to disclose how big Crib Point is. It's hard to say. It's
Well,
it's
thanks
sort
for
of
that.
big. It's sort of not big. So which
I'm sure you're
stations
an
are
expert. I'm
located
sure
in
you're
the
an
town
expert
of Crib
in
Point? Oh, I'm an expert on all this. I love Crib Point.
All right. So obviously, there's a station called Crib Point. I'm going to assume that's in Crib Point suburb. although I might be wrong. And Stony Point.
Who knows?
Stony Point is certainly not a suburb, so I'm going to say that's in Crib Point as well. And that's going to be the same for Muradu, or Moradu, however you pronounce it. That's also going to be in Crib Point. So we've got at least 3. And then the next one, Bitton.
Oh.
Now this is like the boundary, because there might be a suburb called Bitton. Is there? Ben, can you tell me?
Is there? Is there one called Muradu, though?
Oh, yeah, true. Well, I'm going to say 3, because I feel like Bitton's just way too far away. You can't have 4 stations in one suburb on the Stony Point line. Surely.
4 stations in a suburb. That would be something, wouldn't it? Well,
It would be.
mate, I have got the answer. The Stony Point line stations located in Crib Point are Stony Point, correct. Crib Point,
Oh,
correct.
Nice.
No surprise.
Oh, nice.
Muradu, correct.
Nice.
And that is all. Well done, mate. You have got all 3 points. Bang, bang, bang.
Yes.
Well
That's
done.
huge.
Well done. That is a big one. That is a good get from
Oh.
Maxi.
All right, Benny boy. Question 3 for you. Between what 2 stations is the longest distance on the line? And also the 5th on the Melbourne train system?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I have, for a long time, been interested in the Stony Point line. And I've looked at sort of the stations and, how far is between them maybe and that kind of thing.
That kind of thing.
So I'm thinking there's a big difference between some of the distances between stations. So Frankston to Illawarra, that's a short distance. That is
No,
one
that's
short
15
distance.
Ks.
That is one short distance, mate, and you can't tell me otherwise. So I reckon the answer to this is between Illawarra and Baxter, and that is my final answer.
You're going to lock it in. Throw the key away.
And with the potential for a Langwarrin station in the future, it might change, but I think at the minute, that is my answer.
Too easy, Ben. Correct. 6.2 kilometres.
bang.
Leewara Baxter. Huge distance there.
That was a good one, mate. And I mean, what do you think? What do you think about a Langwarrin station? You in favour of that?
Oh, more stations are better in my opinion. I'll be the first to admit that I do not know much about the opening of Langwarrin Station. But I mean, if we are seeing electrification to Baxter, I would say that you'd get a few more stations along the line.
You'd think so. I think especially if that gets done, you would have a station at Langwarrin in some sense. And on to question 4 now, mate. And this one is a bit more recent. So in 2015, the Stony Point line was shut unexpectedly for over 2 months with buses replacing trains.
Ooh.
What issue caused this?
Now, can you give me a clue?
Well, I can sort of. Firstly, do you remember this news where this happened? It was shut for a long
vaguely
time.
remember. I do believe.
Do you know the reason though?
It might have been a power outage or something. I just can't remember how's that got anything to do with it.
A 2-month power outage. Gee, that would be big, wouldn't it?
Yeah, mate. Stony Point live rough.
The whole peninsula cut off for 2 months.
And
Anarchy.
that's even worse because it's not even electrified, so I don't even know what I'm talking about.
What are you thinking? What are your initial thoughts?
The only thing that I could think of is boom gates. Like 3 months without boom gates. That's shocking from whoever is setting that up. Seriously.
Well, whatever it was, it shut down the whole line for a significant period of time.
Wowzers. Now, because it's the only thing that comes to mind, and I honestly have no idea if that's anywhere near the answer, but I'm going to lock in boomgate failures. Oh, God, that seems terrible.
Lock it in, mate.
Yeah, lock it in.
Well, it turns out you know a bit more than you're letting on, mate, because that is correct. Level crossing failures
No.
was what
No.
caused.
What's the real
was What
answer?
caused? That is the real
No, you are
answer.
taking the piss.
It is, mate. The trains. I'll run you through what happened, as far as I'm aware. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Let us know on Stopping All Stations Instagram. But as far as I know, the trains were going over the detectors basically, but the sprinters weren't picking them up. So basically, they had to make special sort of things just for the Stony Point line because that's how big an issue it was.
Far out. I didn't know that much about it. I think 11-year-old Max turned off the news after the Booncave failures. But
I didn't know that much then, but I did some
that's
research for that
fascinating.
question. I'll admit.
That's really interesting stuff.
It is.
And I think the scores are still close. I'm not 100% sure. What am I on? And I'll tell you what you're on.
We'll have to double check that, but I think you are on. I reckon you're on 5 points for me.
That's not bad. You're on 4, but I have not given out as many marks as you have. So it's very close.
Yes,
It is
yes.
incredibly close.
It
My
is.
question 4 to you, Ben. Excluding diverging movements between tracks, what are the 3 speed limits on the line? Oh boy.
Another speed limit question. This
Yes.
is just the lowest of the low from Max here.
It is.
He's just marched on into this podcast and given me another speed limit question. You'll remember back to the Werribee line quiz, and he gave what are the speed limits on the Werribee line. Now, he's come onto the Stony Point line and he's done the same. So
Well, I'll
we're
give
going to
you a
have to
clue.
work through this
It's
again.
not 150 kilometers an hour.
Wow. I knew that. No, okay. Let's have a think. So, for most of it, it's fairly high speed, sort of. But the question is, what are the different speed limits? Now, there's probably a bit around Frankston, which is 15.
Now,
I reckon-
I'll be the first to let you know that we're not counting any garbage Frankston issues. There's no 15 kilometers.
Oh, well, considering when we look back to the Werribee line and one of the answers was
Ooh.
15 k's per
Yeah,
hour.
all right.
It's a
Settle
nice
down.
change. It's a nice change.
So I'll tell you,
Okay.
the speed limits are between Frankston and Bitton and Stony Point, and Stony Point Station that lasts like 400 metres. That's got another speed limit. So that's where the 3 are.
Oh, okay. Okay. I reckon between Frankston and Bitton, it's either 80 or 115. Now, that could be completely wrong. It could be like 130 too. But they tend to be sort of the limiters.
Interesting.
I'm going to go, one of the speed limits on the line is... that's a really tough one, mate. You've screwed me over here.
You're on the right track.
Um,
I'll tell you, you're on
my answers are going to be...
in the ballpark.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm going to go with the 3. I'm going to go 115, 90, and 25 for Stony Point. Lock it in.
Ben, you're not going to be happy with this.
No,
Alright.
I'm not. I'm just off for all of them, aren't I? There's going to be an 80 there too.
Mate, here we go.
Guarantee it.
Frankston to Bitton, 95.
Oh,
And you'll never guess
keep
this.
going.
Bitton to Stony Point, 80. Oh, no. There's silent treatment here, I see.
Mate.
And at Stony Point, mate, you've got 1 mark. It's 25 kilometres an hour. Well done.
Well, that's a good get. That makes things a little bit better. But 95, that is just... How was I supposed to get that?
You guessed 115.
That's true.
Zooming.
Come on,
absolutely
speed it up,
zooming.
Stony Point line.
No, but that is a fair effort, mate. Seriously. You got close on pretty much all of them.
I'll take that. Now, I think it's time for question 5. And my question 5 for you, Max.
Question 5.
If
Question
you-
4.
No, I've done question 4. That was the Stony Point buses.
So you're giving me 4
was the
questions. I've
level
got 1
crossing
more to
remember.
go. Oh, wait.
I've got one more to go. I went first.
Oh, I'm being silly. Silly train man. Anyway, go.
Come
You
on.
go. You go. Come on.
Come on, mate. Question 5. if you added the total 2018-19 patronage data for all Stony Point Line stations, what ranking would it be in terms of the least used stations in Melbourne's electrified network?
Oh my god, are you serious? What a
Yes,
joke.
I am deadly
What a
serious.
joke. If
Now,
I-
you were very confident about your patronage knowledge too.
If I
We had a little
added-
chat before, and you were very confident.
If I added all the station patronage up,
Yes.
and not even like Jesus could figure this out. So I reckon let's think about this a little bit. So from my extensive experience that you talk about, Baxter's got absolutely nobody. Surprisingly, it's like 4. Same with Murdu.
We were surprised at that, weren't we?
So it's like 9. Then I'm gonna go with 4 stations having like around 14. So what's that? 4, 56, 64, around 64, 65.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got a few 5s, I reckon. Maybe 5 or 10s.
Ooh.
So I'm going to say for the rest, let's just stab 25. So what's that? Let's say we've
does that
got
bring it to?
90. We've got 90-ish thousand. That's a ballpark.
Ooh.
And I don't think that's too far off.
Ballpark 90.
And I don't know off
Where
by
does that
heart
rank it in
the-
least used, though?
Off by heart, I don't know the order or the top 10 least used stations by numbers, but I reckon that's around
Oh.
5th or 6th, like top edge of top 5, I'd say. So I'm gonna. No, this is insane. If I get this, someone's
If you
like
can get
getting
this,
a hug.
mate,
Seriously,
that would be very good.
I'm gonna say. Oh, what do you reckon? Can you give me a range, a 20? No, a 10 range. A 10 range.
I will say that it is in the bottom 10.
Oh, actually, I don't mind that.
That's what I'm going to give you, mate.
That's all right. That's all right. Third place.
Bottom
Lock it in.
10.
Bronze medal.
You think it is the third least used station if it was a station on the electrified network? The
Yeah,
Stony
if
Point
bloody
Line.
9 to 10 stations were put together,
Yes, exactly.
it'd be.
It isn't well used, the Stony Point Line. But I mean, to be fair, it doesn't
No,
give you
third-
certainty. But
Third seems way too low. Hang on, don't lock that in.
ooh,
Oh, Max, think your brain. It's 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna lock in
ooh.
4th. No, 3rd. I'm gonna stay with 3rd. My gut's saying 3rd.
You're gonna stick with third. Okay, so the third least. What do you think? I've locked that in. What do you think the 2 above it would be? So you would know this, obviously. What do you think? What are the 2 above it?
Wattle Glen and Tecoma the Goat. Is that right? I believe so. They've got.
Okay.
They're miles behind.
Well, they
everyone
are-
else.
They are the top 2. So, let me tell you. If you added it all up, it would be the 3rd least used station on the Melbourne Electrified Network. Mate, well done. You have got it. You have got it. Now, let me tell you a bit more too.
No way.
So, yes way. So, it gets
Oof.
overall. Now, you said 90,000 ballpark.
Yeah.
I added it up to be around about 98,000.
Oh, that's not too bad. That's not.
That is
terrible.
very good. That is very good.
Oh,
And that-
how did I get that?
That is slightly more passengers than Tacoma and slightly less than Willison, putting it in 3rd. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Well
well,
done, mate. That is
If you guys got that at home, I want you to message saying I'm Jesus to stopping all stations because you are Jesus.
yeah.
Um,
If you got that, just well done. Just congrats.
I'm still speechless, Ben. That's the best. That's the
don't
best
blame
answer
you.
of the whole podcast so far. I reckon it'll be. for
Oh,
a long
that's a
time.
big call.
Oh, yeah,
You look
big
very
call.
happy with
big
yourself,
call for a
mate.
big guess. That's insane. But we're not finished yet. From my calculations, I'm on 6 and you're on 5. So you could equal with a draw for this one.
Ooh,
Now,
there
Ben,
you go then.
how many stations have Aboriginal name origin?
Oh. Okay.
It's
Muridu
tricky.
does. Muridu does. I'm almost sure of that. Crib Point and Stony Point, that would be tough to link
It
to
would be
an
tough.
Indigenous name. So I don't think it's them. The question is then about suburbs. Well, there's sort of towns, sort of suburbs there.
Yeah,
Iffy ones.
the suburbs and town and the station, if they're connected, I'm going to count
Yeah.
them as that.
Sure. So I think Muridu is. I think Tyab. I think that would be. Do I have to name them or do I just have to give a number?
No, I give a number.
Okay. So I'm going to go Muridu. I'm going to go Tyab. I'm going to go Lawara. I reckon that is. Does this include Frankston?
No.
Well, I don't think Frankston is anyway. So
No, it's named after
that's good.
Beauty
good to
Place in Aboriginal language culture.
know. Ooh.
No, it's not.
Okay, we're on 3. Baxter. Nah, that sounds very
Not
not
sure about that.
that. Somerville, maybe. Did I say Bitten? Because I reckon. Nah. I'm overthinking this. Muridu is, Lawara is, and I reckon there's one more. 3, lock it in.
You sure?
Lock it in.
No, mate. We've got a dilemma here.
Oh,
Leewara
yes.
is origin from Aboriginal language.
Oh.
Muridu is Aboriginal
Oh.
language. Tyab
Oh.
is Aboriginal language.
Oh no, there's another one.
And Bitten is not. It's 3. Well done, mate. We've got a draw. We've got a draw.
Oh yes,
We've got a draw.
yes, I've salvaged a draw with a last minute
Oh.
equaliser. Well done, Ben. Oh, Oof, that was a tough one, mate.
Very stiff. So I don't know what we're doing here now.
Well, I'm happy that I named it, at least. I named some of them. But yeah, I think that's a deserved draw for both of us because we
Yes.
both performed very well.
Half a point each.
Half a point each. Sounds good, mate.
All right. Well, that's incredible. Hopefully you guys did okay at home. If you got more than 6, you're a god, honestly.
Let us know. Let us know. We love to hear people getting good answers. So
We do,
make
we
sure
do.
to chuck us a DM.
For now, it's time for the new segment. The big rail rages. You guys are going to love it. Let's go.
Oh, here we go.
All change. All change.
Into a huge new segment now. We're kicking off a little thing we're going to call Rail Rages. And mate, run us through how it's going to work.
Well, it's pretty simple. So we're basically going to be discussing some of the angers of a Melbourne, even Australian train commuter, because sometimes it just isn't enjoyable.
Even for the train man, it's just sometimes just little things just piss me off. And here we go, straight into it with an actual serious one. There are a few funny ones, but you got to picture this: peak hour train, filling up to the brim very quickly on your way to the city, and one person is sitting in the walkway seat, and rather than moving across a couple of centimeters to the window seat, they just sit there, meaning people have to climb over to get to the last seat. Absolute flog move.
That is just antagonising. I mean, you see it happen. You're on the train home. You just want to have a nice seat, you know. And there might be elderly people. There might be lots of different types of people.
Elderly
on the
people
train.
not getting left seat is just shocking.
It is shocking.
Even the
It
amount
is
of
shocking.
publicity it's gotten, like, it's still terrible.
Oh, mate, it really pisses me off. But anyway, I'm onto one. So, the people on the train listening to garbage music without earphones. Like, mate,
Yes.
come on. Whip out the AirPods or something like that to have a listen. We don't need to hear your Shannon Noel on repeat. Seriously. Come on, mate.
Shannon, no, I think I need to listen to that. Oh, it's pure bangers. But it's the same for TikTok as well and other videos. Full volume, bonus points to start dancing. But seriously, just put some headphones in. Honestly, it's just shocking.
I think we actually saw some of that on the summer, and
We did.
Gee.
Interesting top operators. Anyway, next up we got empty KFC boxes being left on the train. Zinger boxes. I mean, left to rot. Like, come on, guys. At least leave a wing for the boys instead of dumping it. Like, the cardboard, how can you leave the cardboard just on the train? I mean, this goes for all food and rubbish. You can't be bothered getting into the bin. You have to leave at least half the contents just to make up for it. That's got to be right, surely.
This is absolute facts. I mean, who doesn't love, a cold, half-eaten, soggy potato cake at 7 a.m. in the morning on a city-bound train? I mean, who doesn't love that? Everyone loves it.
Exactly
They don't,
right.
But that's okay. I mean, the point is, if you've got rubbish, put it in the bin.
Or just you leave $5 to the person who does.
Maybe. That works too. And mate, I'm on to the next one. Now, this is more a story more than anything. So, I've told you about it. It's the time I missed the first 20 minutes of a footy game because, wait for it, two blokes were running across the tracks with a slab of cider under their arm.
Cider. They could have
Cider.
at least picked beer. There's no way. Well, how old was the how old were they?
Well, it looked like there was one sort of older gentleman in about his 50s and another one in sort of his 20s, I'd say. And it was a weird sight. So I was on the way to a big footy game at Marvel Stadium. It was St Kilda versus Carlton in a pre-season game.
Oh, that's
And,
huge.
Nothing gets bigger than that. Anyway, so the train pulled up to the curve just before Caulfield. Yeah. And weirdly, it just stopped. It just stopped moving out of nowhere. So no announcement, no nothing. Just stopped dead in its tracks. We look out the window, and there they are, running across the tracks with a big slab of cider under their arm. How bizarre. The train finally got moving after about half an hour, and we finally got to Marvel Stadium 20 minutes late.
That's shocking. That's absolutely stupid. Like, did you even get told what was happening, or were you just like,
No.
what are we stopping at Caulfield for?
No, well, we didn't get an announcement until we just sort of headed off. But I think people started to figure out when they went on their phones, and there was a little thing saying, due to a police request, trains are stopped at Caulfield. And then we saw them running across the tracks, and we're like, oh, there it is.
I mean, you should have just opened the door and jump out and just shout at them at least. Like, anyone that does that, unless you think you're on the moon, on God knows what, it's just so stupid. Like pea-brain type operators.
Absolutely. It was very annoying, mate.
Yeah, you know what else is annoying? So you're on the way home from a long day, or just you've been pissed off somehow. It's an almost empty train. You've been very lucky. But there's a group of 12-year-olds just screaming their heads off and making so much noise. And, I mean, this could be substituted with anyone. I mean, group of Eshays, they're the best type of noise. Far out, pisses me off.
Different type operators for sure. I mean, you're just coming home. You just want a nice, quiet trip on the train, But then you have the school groups there. Something like school groups. They're the worst. Oh,
they are the worst.
Like, seriously, they make as much noise as if someone just got on the train with an air horn. Like, seriously.
An air horn.
It's just the poor teacher trying to calm them down, and it's a sad sight, really. So, mate, that is what I would say.
Oh, I would say that too, but we can't be sobby Karens. But it is pretty frustrating sometimes.
It is. Now, on to the next one, and mate, when you miss a train on sort of half of Melbourne lines, and the wait is like 20 minutes. Now, this is a serious one. We need to improve frequency on our train lines. So, currently, you've got lines, especially the ones which have single track, they really limit it. We need to duplicate those ones. But some of the lines that have 20-minute frequencies in the morning, in the afternoon, throughout the day, it's ridiculous. I mean, there's just got to be some sort of program to lift it down. Because when you're waiting for over 20 minutes for a train, that is a rail rager. Lift your game, PTV.
It is a Rail Ranger, the big kahuna of Rail Rangers. I mean, it's really just the most annoying feeling in all the land. But mate, why are you talking Mr. Frankston line privilege? You literally get like trains every 3 seconds. Come on.
Yeah, well, mate, turns out our line's just a bit better than yours. But anyway.
Oh, come on. Well,
I'll
it is,
admit,
but
the 10-minute
anyway.
trains are nice. The 10-minute trains are nice. But anyway.
5-second trains.
I mean, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Now, for our final one, it's not as annoying, but just after a good solid day just doing whatever, you walk onto a train that has a full iconic junkie, just mumbling, who knows, just having the best time of their life. I mean, they could be just shouting at a bird for looking at him funny, but that's not a rager. That's just absolutely hilarious. Like, I know it's sad, but it just sometimes brightens your day. They're very comedic, and we're looking at you, Cananook.
I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. And after your little, what was it, West Richmond joke last week, you've backed it up with that. So,
Yes,
well done,
come
mate.
back.
Well done, mate, with that one. That's your final Rail Ranger. Hope you enjoyed that segment, everyone. But now we're moving in to some airport rail link analysis. Maybe a bit more serious this time, mate.
Or maybe not. We'll have to wait and see.
All change. Welcome to all change.
The airport rail link, I'm sure you're all aware, is a proposed line from Melbourne City to Melbourne Airport via Sunshine, with the 15-kilometre journeys taking under 30 minutes. A big upgrade for locals and tourists alike.
Oh, it definitely is a fantastic upgrade, and I can't wait to see it whenever it opens. It's a rail line to Melbourne that was proposed all the way back before the Melbourne Airport itself was even built. It's pretty crazy to me. In 1958, as proposals were being made for Tullamarine Airport, a proposal to link it with rail was suggested. Another link through Glenroy was also proposed in 1965 and even tabled in Parliament. Parliament? That's not bad. But of course, being the 1950s and 60s, the peak of car-centric Australia, both of those were shot down very quickly.
It's a shame. I mean, imagine the rail network now with a line to the airport from Glenroy. It would look completely different.
I mean, if that got opened, that would have opened the floodgates for even more lines. Something that got opened around that time could have been Doncaster line as well. If the airport line was successful, you never know.
For sure. It really could have led to a lot. So, in 1970, to much fanfare, the airport itself opened, but with a key component missing, a train line. There seemed to be so many different options for a link and so many different possibilities that the abundance of choice was simply too much. The early 1970s even saw a French company propose a monorail linking the airport to the city. It was a pretty exciting time for the airport rail link, but more was to come.
A monorail. Even I didn't know that. That's a long monorail from Mr. French company there.
Well, I think there's even been a few more monorails proposed even recently. I mean, this was probably the first, in the early 70s when they came the French and said, we'll build the monorail, and
It's very
never got up, but
surprising.
that's okay.
Yeah, exactly right. And the 1990s saw one of the first physical steps towards the line being built, with a path from Craigieburn Line near Broadmeadows set aside for the link. The line looks to be getting much closer, but of course it really wasn't. The 2000s saw the now default route through Sunshine finally put towards as the preferred route, and it makes sense. But opposition from the operators of the Tullamarine Airport, as well as taxi and car park operators, played a role in having plans squashed.
Oh, it sounds like it was pretty close there. I mean, there was probably a bit of a wait too after the 2000s before 2013, when the project was finally committed to, with big signs, banners and posters appearing all over Southern Cross proclaiming that Airport Rail was near. I remember seeing them. They were big purple posters, big purple signs all around Southern Cross saying
Purple ones?
Airport Rail Link. Like, yeah, big purple ones.
It was coming in 16 years.
It was coming. It looked like it. It looked like it was coming home. Airport Rail Link. But never came. So back then, there were 4 options considered. The Sunshine and Broadmeadows routes, as long with a cheeky little direct tunnel option, which would have been pretty cool, I'm sure we can agree. Again, however, the line still wasn't to be, until 2018 that is.
Cheeky little tunnel. Oh, that would have been cool, but Just way too much money. Way too much money. But, of course, in 2018, with joint state and federal support, the line to Melbourne Airport was finally on track. No pun intended. With construction starting in 2022, the project is expected to be completed in 2029, with the route settled for the line to run from Sunshine along the Albion to Takana Express or freight route. Oh boy, I've had a stinker there. Before branching off and heading to the airport. Excuse the wording from the train man there. That's shocking.
That's all good, mate. That's all good. We all make mistakes. But I mean, it's been a big effort even just to get there. I mean, there's been a lot of work behind the scenes just to get to the point where construction is about to start.
Oh, it is. I mean, just nowadays, with federal and state both needing to support the line, I guess, with funding, it's just a lot harder to get the lines up and running. And when we've seen that with Doncaster for over 120 years, it's such a shame.
It is. So we'll see what happens there, and hopefully it comes along even a bit quicker than 2029. Hopefully. We'll see. I mean...
Oh, we're praying.
We are. But, I mean, the question on everyone's lips at the minute is, how will the airport trains look when the project is completed around 2029? You know, how will the trains run? Will they run, halfway to Sydney before they get to the city? Well, coming from the airport, trains will join the Sunbury line just after Albion and travel on through the Metro Tunnel all the way to Pakenham and Cranbourne. This means that every Metro line will have a direct connection to the airport line along its route, except the poor old Stony Point line.
Sucked in. No. But anyway, Sunshine, of course, will become a western hub and also a huge junction station. Well, the current plans are a bit disappointing that we keep only 4 platforms. The current space around the station, I mean, restricts any platforms above or on ground level. But you never know if they need it. Above ground platforms, that would be really cool. We are getting a new concourse at the southern end. It will become a regional Victoria connection to the airport link. I mean, people from all over, Ballarat, Bendigo, Geelong, they can all access it, which is really awesome.
They can, yeah. And Sunshine will be very vital in providing that. I mean, 6 platforms would have been nice there. 2 for the airport link especially, and especially when Melton and Wyndham Vale electrification comes along, they're going to all converge at Sunshine, and there's going to be big plans there. So it'll be interesting. They could have gone underground maybe, but we all know the cost dilemma there. So it'll be interesting.
I'd say we put 4 platforms below ground, then we put 4 on ground level, and then 4 above. So just get 12, a triple decker station.
12 platforms.
Yeah, just go all in.
Wowee. I mean, the thing with that is, mate, there's only really 4 between Footscray and Sunshine. So 12 into 4, I'm not the best at maths, but if that works...
No, it'll work. I mean, Tottenham has...
We'll find a way to make it work. And regional rail link, mate.
Yeah, exactly. It's all happening at Sunshine. And also, Albion is a big discussion point with a huge overpass being constructed or set to be constructed. It's quite controversial, I guess, in reducing the history at Albion Station. And it's just massive. It's going to I don't know. It's too big in my opinion.
Well,
what do you think?
It's a bridge over a bridge, which is a little bit weird, I guess. It's very big, and I mean, it will do the job, but the way it looks, it's very intrusive. So I don't know. I'm not fully convinced on that yet. And as long as they don't destroy the mill that's nearby, and we went to that in the summer. That's a fantastic place, isn't it? It's so cool.
It is, and the word I was looking for before was overshadow. I mean, Albion would just be completely overshadowed by that bridge, and it just would not be a great sight to the commuters who just are using that station every single day.
And would love to see an upgraded Albion too, because
that's a shocker station. And you and I have been we've been working out the Albion station situation, and it's definitely possible to have the ground level configuration without the cost of an above underground massive bridge overpass. What do you think should happen?
Definitely, mate. So we'll see if we produce this, but we sort of had a chat about this last week, and we sort of went through a map with all the tracks and saw what we could do, and we reckon we might have found a way that would upgrade Albion Station and avoid that big bridge. So we'll see. I mean, we're only 17-year-olds. We're not too sure on all the logistics, but we reckon it could just work. We'll see.
Well, we shall see. And another discussion point is adding an extra station on the line between Albion and the airport. With a few, I mean, there's a lot of housing around that area that doesn't really get served by stations currently. I mean, I'm talking about, I guess, the Keilor area, I believe,
Nidri.
is halfway between. Yeah, exactly. All that area. I reckon that needs a station. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind the idea of a station.
Me neither. I think that's, something that probably should happen. I mean, if you're going to have frequent trains running through there, and you've got all those houses, you've got Airport West Shopping Centre, you've got the tram that's nearby, the 57 or 59, one of the two. You've got all of that nearby. I think it would be pretty beneficial if they could get that done.
Or 100% you get used, that station. I mean, I guess what the government needs to figure out is the time it takes for trains to get from the city to airport. Is that going to be affected by the station? I mean, it wouldn't be that much, but I'd say the benefits of
think it would be
opening...
that much.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say that opening a station should be very considered. And Ben Carroll, the Transport Minister currently, he's around that area, so I'm sure he'll get something done for us.
I'm sure he will. I think you could even go two. I mean, one up near Airport West, one down near sort of Sunshine
Two?
West. That could do the trick.
Beautiful. I'm going to be really interested to see how this goes over the next couple of years. Hopefully some of our ideas are used, or we can, as a community, put our say into how the line looks in 2029 or before then.
Definitely. And it's pretty damn exciting. So with the Suburban Rail Loop also set to run in some form between the airport and Sunshine, as well as providing the long-awaited connection to Broadmeadows, the possibilities are absolutely endless.
Absolutely endless, mate. That line will end up getting used a lot, the Airport Rail Link. Alignment, but we're going to have to say, Ben?
It will. It'll be used a lot. It'll be very busy for tourists and, Melburnians, just heading to the airport, business people, tourists, everything. So, looking forward to it.
It'll make it'll make the city of Melbourne world class. I mean, we've been waiting for this airport rail link for way too long, and it's finally coming. Let's make it the best it can be.
For sure. Now, we are going to head on to our crazy facts.
Crazy.
Now arriving. Now arriving.
4 minutes.
Now arriving. Now arriving.
Rightio. So we got one fact each here. And for Ben's fact, he's going to head to Turkey. How good's that? What's your fact, Ben?
I am. So we're heading to Turkey. Now, only a handful of countries across the world are truly transcontinental. And even that, it's a bit murky, what people can define as transcontinental and stuff. But I think Turkey, it's pretty definitely one of them. So, did you know that the Turkish city of Istanbul has the only transcontinental commuter mass transport system? With a line crossing under the Bosphorus Strait, the line straddles both Europe and Asia, which is pretty cool, I reckon. I do love a bit of Turkish food too. Who doesn't love a scrumptious mercimek kofte?
Yeah, what's that, Ben?
It's a very nice lentil meatball dish. Very nice food.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Although, personally, I like Turkish melons. But anyway, moving to my fact. In the 1860s, the USA still saw rail travel as a novelty, and most people hadn't even seen a train before. That's just insane. But that all changed when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. He was gone in 1865, and his body went on a rail tour in 180 cities across 7 states. Now, George Pullman, the main winner of this assassination, supplied the rail carriages for the funeral train and lent several of his Pullman sleeper carriages to other companies wanting a piece of the action. And you could say the rest is history. These Pullman sleeper carriages were very luxurious and were a huge sensation for over 100 years. being in service all the way up until 1968. That is incredible.
That is one very cool fact, and mate, I'm very happy you've shared that. That is fantastic to see the way things were being done back in America back in those times.
I mean, it is kind of sad that an assassination had to make rail travel very popular, but it had to be done. And thank you, Abraham, for making it very, very popular wherever you are, mate.
Well, I think, yeah, we all know the result of that is very good to make it popular in the States. And probably does need a bit of work there, rail travel, but that's okay because I'm sure it will get done eventually.
Ben goes bang. Stop
I
US
think that's
abuse,
a Ben
mate.
goes bang
Stop.
moment, mate.
Yes, it is. Stop the US abuse, mate.
Come on, we know their trains are pretty awful.
They are. No offense.
No offense at all. But anyway, mate, it's now time, unfortunately, to finish the podcast. And there we go. Another podcast in the bag. Finally, after a big wait.
A huge wait, in fact. I mean, this was meant to go out a month or two ago, but hopefully get some consistency going. And who knows, maybe fortnightly potties.
Oh, we'd love some fortnightly potties, I reckon. We've still got another good one to make too, with episode 6 hopefully coming your way soon.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That's going to be another banger. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, see ya.
See ya.